women process our indigenous foods, and then in processing our indigenous food, in order to retain the value of this indigenous food, they waste most of their time. They spend most of their time, the entire time, in processing this food, and so many valuable things that they would have achieved, they waste the time to process the foods, because we just want to retain the indigenous quality of the food. But if we have a new modern technology to improve this food, because it's not everybody that stay in the country. So many people are traveling from the country to other countries, and they want the taste of their indigenous food. So if we have a better processing method, which will be faster and better than the other one, and well packaged, people that are the migrants from one country to another will be able to source for their indigenous food. For example, I remember when I was in the US and I was sick, and I was given so many medicine to take care of myself. I was looking for my indigenous herb. Now I didn't get it, so I called a friend who now took me to a supermarket to look for a tea that is so strong in the spice preparation, and immediately I took the tea. I was relieved. Maybe it has to do with my mindset, I don't know, because majority of us grew up with all these traditional food and plants and all that. So if we have improved modern technology to preserve, process, and make all these foods available in the market outside in other countries, then we are creating room for employment for people, and then people still stick to their indigenous food. And like in my University of Medical Sciences, in order to retain the value of our indigenous plants, we started herbal medicine. Like in the next semester, next section, which is starting in September this year, we are going to admit students into herbal medicine. So we'll be graduating a student in herbal medicine in order to retain our traditional herbs. And I can now also give another example of African locust bean seed, which we call in Yoruba Iru. Iru, the processing method for Iru can take like 24 hours, and everybody likes to have a taste of Iru. But I look at it in my research work, I look at better method of processing Iru and still retain Iru. Like Iru, I use African yam bean seed. This African yam bean seed has been underutilized, and we now process this to form Iru, and I give it a name that anybody can get it. You're looking for Iru. Now African yam bean seed is called Otili, and so the Iru is Iru. I merge the name together to become Otiru. So if you Google Jeff-Agboola, you see Otiru. That's part of, in order to to use modern technology so that our food can be well accepted. Now, African locust bean seed is highly proteinous seed, but we found another alternative that is underutilized, which is African yam bean seed, which is more proteinous than African locust bean seed, and we can process it within 3 hours and still get the value, the same quantity, the same quality of what we get for the other condiments. And then this condiment can also now be packaged in powdered form. It can be cubed and it can be packaged. There are so many people with different ideas. For example, I have an idea. We use lemongrass a lot to treat malaria and so many things. I thought within myself that, okay, we have we have herbal plants, medicinal research in my institution. So we have lemongrass as part of the plants we want to use. So I formulated this lemongrass into tea, because we don't produce tea in Nigeria. But if we can produce this, I develop my own tea bag, which can be gotten locally. Now I have it, but it was in my own little way. I was able to get tea made from lemongrass, tea made from moringa, and have already packaged it in form of normal tea bag with our indigenous material. But I don't have enough funding to scale that up. If that funding is available, wow, it will create a lot of jobs. It will create big markets for different industries.
You have a
Thank you. That's a very nice question. Coming at this time, it is good to prioritize research, because if we don't prioritize research, it will affect our trade, our international trade. Now, we have so many farmers that are struggling with their income because of rejection of their crops. For example, cocoa farmers, and because of rejection of their crops. So if we are now looking at what is causing this, for example, mycotoxin, what are the things causing mycotoxin contamination in cocoa, contamination in food, in feed products, and all that. So with all this, we have been, as researchers, we have been able to come out with what can be done to reduce this contamination. And so if we prioritize research, it will assist the economic value of that of whatever we are producing and packaging. It will help the country, the buying from us. It will also help us that we are producing.